Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for July 3rd. July 3rd is the 184th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 185th in leap years, with 181 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is eulogy. Eulogy is a noun that means a writing or speech, usually in honor of a deceased person, as in, she delivered the eulogy at his funeral. It can also mean high praise, but I imagine it isn't used that way much because it's so often thought of in regards to funerals. The word eulogy comes to us from Greek, word parts eu, which means good, and logia, which means speech. Put together that way, eulogia means praise. First known use of the word eulogy is in the 1400s, eulogy. And remember, if you have a word you'd like me to explore in the Word of the Day section, pop it in the comments. If I can find a definition for it and it's not nasty, we'll talk about it. And with that, we're going to start with the birthday of Roman Emperor Valentinian I, born on July 3rd in the year 321. Also known as Valentinian the Great, he only ruled for about 11 years, but due to the successful nature of his reign and the rapid decline of the empire after his death, he's often considered to be the last great Western emperor. Valentinian lived to the age of 54. On July 3, 1608, Quebec City was founded by Samuel de Champlain. Samuel de Champlain, by the way, is considered to be the father of New France and the father of Acadia. You might remember that we've mentioned the Acadians recently. And Lake Champlain, of course, is named after him. Adresseavisen is Norway's oldest newspaper still in print. Adresseavisen was founded and the first edition published on July 3, 1767. July 3, 1863 sees the final day of the Battle of Gettysburg, culminating with a battle known as Pickett's Charge. On July 3, 1884, Dow Jones and Company published its first stock average. And if you trade or follow the stocks, you want to be aware that the U.S. markets, at least, will close early today and will be closed tomorrow the 4th. Idaho was admitted as the 43rd U.S. state on July 3, 1890. The Constitution of Puerto Rico was approved by the United States Congress on July 3, 1952. And that reminds me that I want to mention that the Free Associated State of Puerto Rico is a Caribbean island and unincorporated territory of the United States with official Commonwealth status. Puerto Ricans have been U.S. citizens since 1917 and can move freely between the island and the mainland. Because of Puerto Rico's unincorporated territory status, they don't vote in the U.S. presidential elections, but they don't pay federal income tax. Puerto Ricans can send and receive mail through the U.S. postal system, just as if I were sending a letter across town. And again, they can move freely between the island and the mainland. I mention this because there have been a few situations recently where people who should have known better demanded passports and ultimately denied service to Puerto Ricans because they didn't have their passports with them. Things got ugly when they didn't need to. Again, Puerto Ricans have been U.S. citizens for over 100 years and can move freely between the island and the mainland. No passport required. All right, I'll climb down off my soapbox now. Today's song is Silly Love Songs by Wings, number 1 on July 3rd, 1976. After the Beatles broke up and went their separate ways, Paul started a band called Wings with his wife Linda. Silly Love Songs was one of their collaborative creations and McCartney's 27th number 1 song as a songwriter. Silly Love Songs was Paul's reply to critics who had criticized him for writing lightweight love songs. For example, Paul's Auntie Lil asked why did they all have to be love songs and couldn't he write about something interesting instead? In Silly Love Songs, Paul invites the listener to have a laugh on him. Silly Love Songs was released in April of 1976 Actually hit number 1 for the first time in May of 1976 and was displaced by Diana Ross's Love Hangover for 2 weeks, and then picked up the number 1 spot again on June 12th, holding that spot for the next 4 weeks, making it number 1 on July 3rd, 1976. Interesting to note that while this song was a major number 1 hit for Paul McCartney, he has never performed it live again after Wings disbanded in 1981, although he did re-record the song for a motion picture soundtrack, the movie Give My Regards to Broad Street. Silly Love Songs has been covered by several other artists in the intervening years. Silly Love Songs, number 1, July 3rd, 1976. Link in the description. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page that is called No Really. And you can also find me on Rumble and BitChute. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Microphone over there. Hello. Okay. With 202 days remaining to the end of the world. End of the year. Please, not the end of the world. 202 days remaining to the end of the year. Let's read that one again. Yep, it is. That's what it's called. All right. Third time better be a charm. There's no "the" there. One more time. Attracting. Just read the whole thing over. Are you making some sound? Get on out of here. And we're going to edit that out. Don't alienate people who can be helpful to you. Flinging happiness all over the place. Alrighty. Back to work. I think we got it this time.